Welcome, everyday goddesses and divine feminines, advanced souls. Welcome back. We're going to do a pick a card today about what's going on in your connection with your divine counterpart. So here we've got the Radiant deck with this beautiful carnelian and obsidian agate. The Morgan Greer with a beautiful clear crystal, just for general enlightenment. This agate here is first, second chakra, grounded, childhood wounds, early stuff there. And then the beautiful Ethereal Visions Tarot with some green calcite, which is about peacefulness. So go ahead and take a breath. Tune in. You can pause if you need to. Take a moment to choose. And we'll get started. Okay, so let's put these away. And I want to thank everyone who's subscribing to the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. Hit the like button if you find anything helpful in here today, and comment. Let me know if you're if there's any kind of specific reading you're looking for. I'd be more than happy to deliver that. Okay, so pile one. Let's see what's going on with your counterpart. So let's look at first the energies on the divine feminine side. The Chariot, number 7. Wow, that's so powerful, divine feminine. Let's look at your counterpart. Oh, good Lord. 2 of Swords and the connective energy, 7 of Swords. Okay, so divine feminine, you are in a really powerful place. You are all systems go. You've been doing your work. There are things that have really come together in balance for you. You've really brought your emotional body, your spiritual body, the mental bodies. You've been integrating a lot of lessons, and you're really ready to move forward on your own singular path. All right. You are, I'm looking at these 2 lions here, or these Egyptian figures, and it's a very twinny, balanced, image here. You're in full awareness of your power as a twin flame, but you're no longer really waiting for your masculine to give you permission to move forward in your power, which is a really good sign. You know where you're heading. It might not feel that way every day, but you do deep in your spirit know the intensity and expansiveness of who you are as a soul body, and you're ready to keep the train moving forward no matter what he's doing. Because what's he doing? He's got the 2 of Swords right now. He is just not wanting to make any decisions. He's very indecisive. See the water representing the emotions, and the moon, the deeper fears. He's just in a state right now. He's just refusing to look. He's refusing to look within, but it's not getting in your way. All right. The connective energy here is also the 7 of Swords. You get 2 7s out, which is divine guidance. So bear in mind what I'm going to be saying. Everything is divinely guided right now. I know that sounds a little cliche, but it is. Trust in that. You are both being strategic in your own ways, but I would say on your side, that strategy is a little bit more positive. His strategic energy is, he's strategizing by blocking himself off. He's managing his dark side by distracting and kind of sneaking around a little bit. This divine masculine might be kind of sneaking around with other women. I know that's hard to hear, but whether it's that or, gaming, or he's distracting himself right now. And he's in a bit of a state of avoidance. But the good news for you is it's not getting in your way. All right? You're just kind of letting him be to his own. How are you feeling? King of Cups. Divine Feminine, you are in such good strength. This came out, I just read this before. This came out in the exact same position. 5 of Swords in his feelings. And the connecting feelings, the Empress. Wow. So your emotional body, divine feminine, you are coming into emotional mastery of self. Okay. You're in great shape. And I know that at times this may feel, you may be feeling turbulent, but even inside that turbulence and roller coaster, you are becoming deeply aware of how your emotions move through your body, how the mind is attached to those feelings. You are starting to move into a place where you're able to take the ride, to take the roller coaster ride of life with an awareness. I'm seeing an image of you sort of sitting outside yourself and turning around and looking back down on yourself, so you can be an observation of your feelings and allowing them to pass through you. Kind of like when Eckhart Tolle says, when you're in a state of high emotionality, to observe it and let it dissipate. You are finding the tools to manage your emotional intelligence. That's fantastic. Him, not so much there, okay? He's got the Five of Swords, a very combative energy, very egoic. He's kind of enjoying sort of getting, getting one-upping other men, other people. He's using the ego to sort of like get himself to feel better than the people around him. There's a lot of mental confusion. He's not coming from spirit and authenticity. He's coming from, mental battle and mental. This is someone who's like liking to pick a fight a little bit, liking to be right about things, and it's feeding back into this not really wanting to look. All these swords coming out. This is the mind. He's got a lot of mental confusion. The emotional connection, though, between the two of you is quite beautiful. You have the Empress. And I'm going to say this is really generating out of the progress that you've made, Divine Feminine. And even though, look how there's so much power in this connection, he's blocking it out with mental confusion. But I'm going to say that power at the source is still feeding him in a positive way. He might not be experiencing it. He might not be feeling it. But your shifting is causing him to sort of face these battles. These are battles, but they're not stagnant, okay? It's something that he's needing to go through. He's thrashing, but your energy is providing an anchor for him. Not that you want to pay the price for it, right? She's very relaxed. Don't work too hard at it. Just know that your own self-empowerment is creating sort of a platform for him to start, moving through all this difficulty that he's in the middle. Okay, so stay steady. What's shifting? Six of Wands for you, and for him, King of Pentacles. And what's connecting the two of you? The Hierophant. Well, that's very promising and encouraging. So for you, you're coming into victory in love. This is the Six of Wands represents love, spiritual love, can be self-love, love of self. And there might be an ascension partner on the horizon for you in the meantime, while he's going through this journey. His journey is, positive. He gets the King of Pentacles, which is, he starts to become a little bit more masterful in the earth plane. His coin, his money, setting up his life in a certain way. He comes out of some of this mental difficulties, and he's able to get some clarity of resetting up his life. This is a guy that things have not been going very well for him in terms of how he's living, his money, his finances, things like that. Just his house has been out of order, but he's going to start to bring that into a bit of alignment, and that's going to start laying out the scenario for him to start going a little deeper. But he's got to get things together on the earth plane before he can start to have a deeper journey. Your journey has had a lot of depth. The connective energy is the Hierophant, which means it's a lot of learning going on. Yours is in the depths of your being, and his is just more, getting rid of fighting with friends, fighting with people around him, letting go of the ego a little bit more, and trying to not be so turbulent and messed up in his life, okay? And he's got to get his feet on the ground in this way. And as he does that, he is going to learn some things about himself and how he's been his own worst enemy, really. He's been his own worst enemy. And honestly, Divine Feminine, you don't want to be around that right now. Let him figure out his stuff. He's got to figure out his stuff, okay? Because you are onto some really deeper issues. Let's see what he wants to say to you. Street signs. Yeah. You know, there's two things about this that strikes me. One is that on the surface, just pay attention as you're driving to what you see. There's some messages and some of the street signs that you're going to encounter. So when you're parked somewhere, just look out, okay? So Spirit is going to start giving you some messages. But also what we talked about his third dimensional reality having to come into some more balance. He's got to handle what's on the street for him, okay? He's got to get his shh together, all right? He's got to grow up a little bit more and go from being a boy, a combative boy, into a more solid man. This is a big part of a male journey on the earth plane, all right? Going from kind of bratty, immature energies into being more manly, more responsible, okay? Gotta have a man like that in your life. You don't need to be taking care of somebody else's messes. Let's see what's the main emotion blocking him. Purposelessness. Okay. Yeah. This is a guy who's just making a mess out of his life and he's directionless. But this is going to come through a little bit. He's got to start figuring out who he is and what he's actually doing here. And this is tied to the work, right? And the pentacles. He's up against finding work that actually is connected to his soul and his mission on life. Right now, he's just been flailing. And even the work, even if he's been doing okay financially, it's not very deep or meaningful. He's got to figure that out. He's gonna have to figure that out. Okay, let's just come out with just a little guidance for you, Divine Feminine. Off the top, it's, you know, keep doing whatever you're doing because you're doing great. A time to give rather than take. Well, this is funny because he's got that purposelessness. New Moon in Virgo. Divine Feminine, you are in a place where you are becoming so full and so rich that you are now getting able to, I'm not saying, you know, not to get the mind off your healing because, right, there's always more, but you're in a place where you're empowered enough to start sharing that energy with others, even if it's just by your presence, okay? This might be, you know, take it as it resonates. If it's literal giving, I've been driving around giving away extra blankets to homeless people lately, you know, or cooking food, but maybe it's just even the energy or your wisdom to other feminines, you know, that are struggling. You know, the twin flame journey is always a little bit of a struggle, but if you can lend a hand out to other women in, whether they're twins or advanced souls or not, but this has been such a difficult time. At the time I'm you know, doing this reading, a lot of people need love and support and awareness and love and power. And your cup is full. Your cup is full, Divine Feminine. So, you know, you're in a place to be able to share the things that you've learned about self on this journey. Congratulations. Good for you. That's wonderful. Okay, so we're going to move on to pile 2. You know, if you want to watch more than one pile, you know, do that, because there's always, I don't like people to necessarily, you don't have to do like voodoo on yourself about the piles, you know. It's just one of those things where whatever messages resonate, you know, take them. Sometimes within a reading, some messages will resonate and some won't. It's okay. It doesn't mean that the reading was not completely for you. You trust your own intuition. Okay, so let's go on to pile 2. All right. Greer here. Welcome, pile 2. If you're just tuning in right now, just want to say hello, and we're looking at what's going on in your connection. I'm going to be doing another yoga workshop coming up soon, so come on over to my website, www.everydaygoddess1111. You can subscribe there. Subscribe here on my channel too, please, and hit that like button and leave some comments. We're not going to take that. But go ahead and subscribe on the website, because I do very deep Kundalini yoga workshops with twin flames where we deal with some of the really deep issues on healing the heart. We're going to be building a bridge to our masculines for his healing. We're going to be releasing karma, all sorts of stuff, okay? All right, Divine Feminine, let's see where your energy's at. King of Rods. Your masculine. It's the Knight of Rods. Okay, and the connective energy is the 6 of Rods. Okay. So, Divine Feminine, you are really starting to master your spiritual energy. Your inner masculine energies are coming into some really strong balance. The yin and the yang work on the inside that you've been doing, whether consciously or unconsciously, is coming forward. All right? You're becoming more able to be intuitive about the actions you need to take, and you're getting your feet really on the ground in terms of walking the spiritual walk in your life. All right? It's not just an idea or a notion or a fuzzy feeling, but it's becoming an act of power. All right? You're starting to move into places where you're able to translate your spiritual growth into real world activity. The relationship between the unseen and the seen is coming together. The manifest and the unmanifest. You're starting to bring these 2 points to get together in your existence. Your counterpart is, it's so interesting that it's both rods, but you're the king and he's the knight. So his energy is just not as matured as yours is. And the Knight of Rods, honestly, it's a little bit of a player energy. You know, these are sort of the dogs a little bit. So he may be in a place where he's just really got his energies, you know, flirting with other women, kind of just young, immature behavior. He kind of comes, you know, running in with his rod, you know what I mean? He may be coming towards you, also with sexual offers, but temper that, you know, just be a little cautious and aware that he's not playing you too much. Because there might be, this is slightly egoic, okay? This is slightly getting his identity from, you know, sexual, you know, pursuits. But at the same time, he feels sexy about you. All right, he's having naughty thoughts about you, Divine Feminine. But just stay grounded as that energy, sexual energy, comes forward, to just protect yourself a little bit from it. Try not to get too swept away by it. And this might be in the 3D, I mean the 5D as well, too. You could go into meditation and astral travel and connect sexually with your divine masculine, because he's got you on the mind. It's just that energy sort of dissipated around for him. It hasn't really come into focus. But the connective energy is 6 of Wands, which is victory and love. And this is on the spiritual plane. So your union in the 5D is coming into focus. You know, you guys are becoming very, very connected in the 5th dimensional plane. So hang out there a bit with him, no matter what he's doing on the ground. Okay, let's see how everybody's feeling. 10 of Cups, Divine Feminine. Eight of Swords on the masculine. And Six of Pentacles as the connective energy. Okay. So, Divine Feminine, you are really coming into that place of complete satisfaction and joy, happily ever after. The light in you is complete balance. I'm just kind of drawn to this rainbow and how lovely it really is. Your cup is full and it's expanding outwards. You have everything available to you emotionally that you need. You're feminine, again, see this masculine arm and the feminine arm wrapped around each other. You're coming into real inner balance between the inner feminine and the inner masculine. This beautiful landscape of peace. You're starting to get real emotional balance on the inside. Your masculine is trapped in his own mind. This came out again in my previous reading for the masculine, okay? So even though he's feeling sort of this sexual surge, I'm going to say that, you know, emotionally, he's so tied up and unseeing and feeling trapped and bound that this is a 5D energy, the sexual energy. His mental mind is sort of causing him to really not see his way very clearly to you. So this energy is just sparking, but the mind is really clouded and he doesn't have a really clear awareness of how to connect that to you necessarily. So keep that work going on the 5 dimensions, because there's an imbalance here. The 6 of Pentacles is sort of an uneven give and take. You're in this beautiful ascended energy and he's sort of, you know, flailing around sexually and not really having a lot of mental clarity. So it's a little bit like this, okay? It's a little bit like this. So again, be mindful and aware. What's shifting? The Chariot. This came out for Divine Feminine before again. The Hierophant on his side and connective energies. 8 of Cups. So that's kind of a very separate energy. This work that's going on between the two of you is not really in union. You guys are both in your separate camps for a little bit, and yours are so powerful and so good. You have the Chariot, which is full speed ahead, divine guidance. Don't hold back, Divine Feminine. Don't wait for him to get through this stuff. He has learning coming towards him, and he will get that learning done, but don't let that slow you down. The connective energy is 8 of Cups, which is a journey within, somebody going away who will eventually come back. All right, he's going to go through this period of learning and he will return back, okay? But don't wait. He's going to be facing inner fears, and you are too, but your pathway to facing your inner fears is so much, has so much more ease and clarity to it. The road ahead of you is clear and you're ready to charge down it. So even this inner journey is not that difficult for you at this point, but for his, it is. He's going to have to go through some difficult lessons to get himself untied, okay? Let's see what is the main thing blocking and causing this deep mental blockage. Helpless. Yeah, he feels helpless. That's also why he gets this more immature energy. He's kind of in a victim mode, all right? He's going to have to learn that that is not going to work out so well for him, all right? And then, what does he want to say to you? Astral chat. Okay, yeah, we're going to put that up there, all right? Work with him on the astral level. Use that sexual energy and that love that is spiritually connecting and binding you guys to get to the next level. It might help him come out of this helplessness and start learning a little bit more about himself. And for you, it's just complete empowerment. Okay? All right. Excellent. So we're going to move on. Let's move on to pile 3. I hope that was helpful to you. And let's just get rolling here. So, pile 3. Welcome, pile 3. We're going to be looking at your connection, seeing what's going on, And as I've said to everybody else, please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that like button. Leave me a comment if you'd like to have a certain kind of a reading happen here on the channel. Be more than happy to accommodate, you know, and also feel free to look at more than one reading and take what messages resonate, you know, leave the rest behind. Divine Feminine, what's happening with your energy? The Hangman. Divine Masculine's energy is, oh, the Three of Swords. Woo. And then what's connecting you? The Two of Wands. All right, so Divine Feminine, you're really starting to look at this connection from a different perspective. This has been a rough connection to be dealing with because your masculine is in a place of deep grief and deep heartache. And what's connecting you is this decisiveness. You are deciding to really sort of give him some space to go through this spiritual devastation that he's going through, right? You're starting to realize that this masculine does not have what it takes to give you what you need at this time. And it's a peaceful decisiveness that's come over you for it, all right? But you've really learned how to just sort of step back and not get, you know, toxified by this, all right? This doesn't belong to you. This belongs to him. And the rose-colored glasses have started to come off a little bit for you, and you're starting to see him as not the be-all, end-all, and answer to all your prayers. You start to realize, Divine Feminine, that you are the answer to your own prayers. And this is a man that you love very deeply, but he needs to start facing himself. Let's see what you're feeling. Emotions, the Devil. Six of Wands. And the connective energies, the Ten of Wands. So again, Divine Feminine, you are starting to grapple with the codependency that you've been having in this relationship. You're starting to really be aware of it and look at it. You're still a bit stuck in it, okay? This is addictions, emotional addictions. They could be also food issues, drinking. A lot of this shadow is coming up in you now, but you're starting to realize that you have to deal with your shadow as he deals with his. Emotionally, he gets the Six of Wands. He loves you so deeply, Divine Feminine. This masculine has a lot of love for you, but he's so caught in his own pain. And it pains him. It pains him to have such deep, beautiful caring for you and not really be able to act on it very much. This Ten of Wands is this emotionally, you're both feeling so burdened by this connection. In this connection, you feeling burdened by the awareness of your codependency. He's burdened by his grief. You're having to reconsider exactly what you want from this connection at this time and what's actually available to you from him, which is not too much. This love sits at the center of that heartbreak. He's heartbroken about you. And he's heartbroken about his life, and he's heartbroken. That heartache is spiritual, so it's also coming from many past lifetimes, the two of you together. What's shifting? Nine of Swords. Five of Wands. And the High Priestess. This High Priestess in the center is making me feel a little bit about that Nine of Swords. I'm not going to mince words, Divine Feminine. You've got some sleepless nights, and look at this, the card. See these demons, and there's like demons and ghosts and stuff. This is dark night coming, Divine Feminine. You are, we're going to get some guidance for you. You might be heading for some rough energies coming your way. There's a purge of darkness, okay? So this devil energy, this codependency, toxic love, conditional love, this is all going to start coming out on the surface. You are in for some deep, deep cleansing, and this has to happen separate from him. He's got the Five of Wands, which is, you know, it's just game playing in a little while. It's horsing around with friends. I don't really see him right now doing the deep work that he needs to be doing. However, the connective energy is the High Priestess, which is the divine feminine and her intuitive and spiritual self, right? So this is really about you stepping ahead into your own healing for a while. The divine feminine is the torch, is the light bearer, and you're going to have to dig down, divine feminine, and start doing the deeper work. I hate to say it that way, but it is true, because he's just in this is just superficial sort of energy here, and that's not going to clear for him until you do your own work separate from him. Let's see what's sort of causing him to stay stuck in grief. This game playing is sort of, you know, in a certain way it's an improvement than being grief stricken, because at least spending time with his friends, with his male friends, start to lighten the load. But let's see what he's avoiding the material world. Yeah, he's not really paying attention. Like the last reading, it was talking about someone getting their pentacles in order. He's spending too much attention on just what's right in front of him. You know, just friends, partying, paying his bills. He's not really up to doing that deeper work at this time, but you are, all right? It might not be easy for you, divine feminine, to get that work done. Ooh, sorry. Whoa. It's painful, the work that's coming up for you. This is a time to start really dipping into matters of, like I said, codependency, ego, deep grief, ghosts. These are all ghosts from your past. They could be ghosts from the past in this lifetime, old relationships, maybe old lifetimes in karma. And let's see what he wants to say to you. Ego death. This is your ego death. You're up against it. You're up against really combating with your own ego. All right? This in here is the next thing that needs to happen for this to move forward. You need to sort of take your eyes just sort of off of him for a while, have a new perspective, and that new perspective goes right down into yourself. Okay? So rather than, you know, you dealing with his heartache, let him manage that. Okay? He's just gonna have to work out some of his karma in the 3D. Let him do that. This is time for you to become deeply more intuitive and take a self journey. I would, in this area, recommend doing any kind of healing work that soothes you as you're doing some of this deeper purging. I know, you know, bathing, I know bodywork's not available, but maybe some yoga nidra, anything to sort of soothe yourself as this darkness comes up, because this can be really turbulent, okay? Make sure you're taking a walk every day, taking your supplements, self-care. All right, divine feminine? All right, everybody. So thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next week. Again, come on over to my website, www.everydaygoddess.com, and subscribe, and you'll find out about my Kundalini yoga workshops, where we do some really deep healing on the divine feminine. If you'd like a karmic clearing, which I do for feminines, or have a reading, personal reading with me, you can find me there. And again, hit the like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that good YouTube stuff. All right, and I'll see you next week.